Hi, everybody. It's Dale E. Walsh, and welcome to Straight, Sane and Sober. Today, our guest is Guyana Oganova, Sophia Oganova, and we're going to have a great talk about the divine feminine and her journey from Russia to the United States and all sorts of things. So stay tuned. Hi, everybody. It's Dale Walsh, Dale E. Walsh in Guyana, Oganova. I'm the poetic warrior of the mental health warriors, and as it has become the tradition, I'm going to start with a poem of my own, and hope maybe Guyana will have some of her own poetry. She's a prolific poetess as well as a great thinker and deep thinker and everything. But I'll start with my poem. It's called Ideation of Being in Love. I want to hold you, kiss you, and embrace simultaneously. I want to stun you with the insight of my intelligence. I want to have healthy liaison without self-medication. I want to be intimate with longing body and clear mind. I want to hug you on the beach of your island paradise. I want to converse with you until the death of the sun. I want to grab you with the strength of my loving arms. I want to read you all the poetry you can ever inspire. I want to adore you with every resource of happy heart. I want to fill you with an amorous desire to be my gal. I want you to be the woman to whom I dedicate my soul. I want you to seek the same things as strongly as I do. I want us to find romance many think impossible in these times in which the apocalypse seems imminent. So that's from my third book. It's called For Those Who Love Poetry, for Those Who Hate Verse, and it's available on Amazon at D.E. Walsh, Poetry Books by D.E. Walsh. So welcome, Guyana. I hope that wasn't too much of a stretch for you. How you doing?
Oh, hi Dale. Hi everybody. Oh my goodness, what an honor to be here. I'm doing fabulous, as I like to call it, fabulous February. And it's not about the Valentine's Day and just everything. It just we can feel the change is in the air and the air of possibilities coming around. So I'm doing good. How are you?
Very well, thanks. You're right. We're heading towards spring, and the groundhog said that we're going to have an early spring. So hopefully you're right. And as you say, fabulous February. There's a lot of astrological stuff going on, and numerology stuff, including we're coming up on 2/22/2022. So that's a big numerological date is like one of the most important dates in a long time. But
Yeah, the 22, I just wanted to say that the numerology, the number 22 is actually a number of divine feminine and grace. So this whole year is actually going to be, uh, you know, with this declaration of grace and the power, creative power of divine feminine that cannot be ignored any longer. And you're right, using the portals like 222 2 there's still too many twos to count, but this just means that there is an amplification of that divine feminine energy, and we can ride that wave together and capitalize on that as well.
right. Well, I you certainly typified to me the divine feminine, Guyana. Yeah, I have known you for probably a year and a half now, and we've been through some adventures together, and it's always a pleasure to talk to you. And why don't you tell us about basically about your journey from Soviet Union Russia to 21st century Los Angeles and beyond.
Oh, thank you for asking this question. I love telling this story um, because in my story, I just feel many people can actually relate, and I'm sharing this story to inspire and empower people to take courage that everything is possible in this world. So I was born and raised in Russia, and my father and my both parents are doctors. My father is a psychiatrist, and my mom is a pediatrician. So I had already desire for healing. I had it in me, whether genetically or intuitively, but I didn't know exactly how it's gonna happen. So growing up in Russia, where being different is actually was kind of a dangerous for life. So
Right.
I was, yeah,
They'll ship you out to Siberia for that, right?
No, I mean this just, of course, in the times when I was born, we already started to transmute that little by little, but yet still it was so deeply in the genetics of people. From the Stalin war time and stuff like that. Where just even saying the wrong word that can be heard by a wrong person can lead to you being like taken out. There is a man, there is a problem. There is no man, there is no problem, Stalin said. And that very thing, that fear of annihilation, eradication, for speaking out, using your voice, is so deeply in the genetics of people. And not only in Russia, but in Russia specifically, that is one thing I needed to transmute in me, but then once it started, nobody could stop me, really. I was just like speaking up, and I am right now advocating for people, for men and women and children, speaking up their voice, using their voice, the voice of love, the voice of God, and what is divinity to each and every single one of us may be different, but to deny the fact that uh, this presence is operating our human bodies and our animating our lives, it's just undeniable. And so my goal is to embody that, to be in the full alignment. And in those times when I was in Russia, I would come up with some crazy ideas like move to America. So, and people were like, "Oh, Gaia, she's just not from out here, she's just whatever, and." That ability to actually firmly stand on my point and declare it, not just with words, but with actions. I just did it. It took a little while, and it does not matter here again. It doesn't matter how long something may take. You gotta follow your dreams. You gotta follow the desires that are being birthed within your heart. So I knew that then. I could not quite put a finger on that at that time, but I
Right.
knew it then, and I followed my intuition. And speaking of divine feminine, that intuition, that our superpower of ours, that is even at that time, that what it was. Doesn't matter anybody's opinion about it. We gotta follow our intuition. So I had courage to do that, and I came here. Well, first of all, not in California. The first. I was in Oregon, actually, in the abusive. I got in the. Nothing was. Not everything was roses. I got into the abusive marriage, which ironically ended up in the court, and my ex-husband, um, he basically was trying to shut me down by putting a hand on my neck. So that is, I'm sharing all this, not to judge my ex-husband or anything, but just to say how that fear and helplessness sometimes being released in somebody just wanting to shut you down, you
Right.
know. But that's the voice of freedom, the voice of divine feminine that cannot be shut down, regardless of all outer circumstances. So, and then I basically ran away to California without knowing one person here, not one person. And, I found my tribe, I found my people. I found people who are willing to let their heart be vulnerable and willing to let their heart speak. And we are being magnetized to one another. And together we are in service to the entire planet, to be the embodiment, to show that it's actually safe. The times when we were killed for speaking our truth are gone. We don't need to carry that trauma into our present time. So it's a time of great liberation, I feel.
Right. Well, you brought up a few points, but so you talked about you don't want to judge your husband, your ex-husband, but I know that's a big point for you is like to avoid judgment, and because you feel that judgment is a product of fear and lack, and you're a advocate of love and affirmation, right?
Well, let me just circle back on that one. You know Again, it's easy to judge from the ego standpoint, especially when you've been hurt. Especially, I don't know if you ever experienced, I'm sure anybody could attest that there were moments in their life when they felt oppressed, suppressed. So whether somebody was physically stronger than them or just had some kind of again, illusory power over you, because there is nobody above us and nobody below us, beneath us. We are all equals. So, but fear has a different way of showing things to people, and when we realize that aggression is just a showing of fear. It's a fear. It's a fear in disguise. So people become aggressive when they feel helpless, and we can judge. We can judge anybody for that, but that's what the divine feminine brings into the conversation. How about substitute it with compassion? Recognize that you also have been recognizing that I have also been in the situations where I felt helpless and displayed aggression. It is possible, okay? And judgment, when we try to judge, when we judge something or somebody, it's because we see that within ourselves too, and we deny our truth. So, and every evolution starts with acceptance. And if we don't demonstrate that acceptance within ourselves first, uh, it's it's practically impossible to demonstrate it in the outer world. You know, it's difficult to accept, genuinely, authentically accept other people. When you don't accept yourself. So again, we judge judgment too. We judge something and then we judge ourselves for judging that, don't
Right.
we? So it's kind of a catch 22. But instead of judging, try to embrace yourself. For people who physically, you know you can physically embrace yourself. You can aid yourself with physical gestures. I teach yoga, and I very often use, just hugging yourself, caressing shoulders. Be gentle with yourself, be kind with yourself, be in divine relationships with yourself. We just passed the Valentine's Day, right? And you know the main relationships, that the main love story here is with your own self. That is the home that we're all seeking to come back to.
Right. Well, that's very true, and so. I know you're really into the Sophia Code and the Divine Feminine and everything. So why don't you like? I mean, I'm not sure a lot of people know about the Sophia Code. So why don't you like explain that a little bit?
Oh my goodness, I didn't expect that question because I
I love
I
keeping.
prefer to embody everything that is in that magical, beautiful, incredible book, sacred text of a book. So I prefer like embody that and be the living testimony to that. But you know what? To take the opportunity to actually speak about it, because it did have a humongous influence in my life. You know, when I found for the first time Kaya, beloved sister Kaya Ra, and the Sophia Code, what she has created and channeled and birthed and delivered. Uh, this is Sophia Code is a sacred text, and it's it aids us to activate. It's a love letter from the Divine Mother, and it even opening the conversation about Divine Mother. Oh my goodness, you know, for how long we have been talking about God as He's Father, and you know what? I love sometimes that presence of a father, but just to have an opportunity to open conversation about Divine Mother. Oh my goodness, you know, I think the precursor with that was when I became a mother, just a human mother, you know, to my beloved miraculous, magical son. He's 7 years old right now, Marley Ray. But I got changed. I got changed like instantly. I started to feel such a unbearable love. My poem that I will be reading today will be about that. It's just this, I the love I cannot put even the word love on. Like, it's like love on steroids, almost overwhelming, you know. And this love to feel to a child, I then I started to feel it to everything and everybody, you know. So when I found Sophia Code, and I realized, where is this love actually coming from? It's the love of the Divine Mother. Oh my goodness, flowing through us, you know. And I know maybe for men it's difficult, right, to imagine themselves as a Divine Mother, but just feel yourself, like you can cradle yourself, you know. We so often we reach outside, you know, for people approval, you know, for just people good opinion of people, of others, of us, and all of that. And it's so understood, right? Acceptance and love is one of our basic needs, right? And sometimes we go far reaches as far as betraying ourselves to earn that approval of other people. Well, we truly, the true divine love of a mother is unconditional. You don't need to earn it, you know. You are deserving of the best that this life has to offer, and that is what I'm using my voice for in this lifetime, to advocate for people and help people remember that. You know, I'm not going to shame people into this truth. I'm going to inspire and advocate with my poetry and with my own embodiment, with my own human life. We each have the opportunity, Dale, to use our human life as a living transmission, as a living testimony. And that's, by the way, what Sophia Code is teaching in a different wording, you know, through examples of ascended masters. And I'm not going to go into all of the details of that book, but basically we all ascended masters. We all are, you know, to realize that you are the same as I mean, I'm with Jesus eye to eye, hand in hand, you know. Sometimes I feel that my hands are his hands. With Mother Mary, the same thing, you know. I discuss everything with Mother Mary like I would discuss with my mom, you know. And just to feel that support, we are so eager. Our ego has conditioned to think that we are alone. And the presence of Divine Feminine, the remembering of that grace and joy of, oh my gosh, not only I'm not alone, I'm like held by the millions million arms. That is the grace to really realize how helped we are.
Right. Well, the idea, this idea of like maternal love and everything, I know it's reflected in you, because you call yourself Mama Gaia. Well, I call you Mama Gaia, you know? So it's just like your message is so empowering and so great, you know, but I think it is very hard for like a lot of men, including myself a little bit, to like conceive of like the love that, you know, the universal love that surrounds us, you know. And I understand what you say, that we're held by millions of arms and of the angels and the ascended masters and even fellow humans, but ultimately, you know, to go to feel that in your heart rather than in your mind is like a big jump for, I think, for a lot of people.
Well, I just wanted to speak on that very quickly. To feel it in your heart, the bridge to feel it really in your heart, and even that idea, the mind tries to conjure, you know, but the bridge goes through your body. Okay, we so conditioned to deny our body the joy, the desires, the miraculous nature of our incredible sensual computers of the bodies, you know. And that is what judgment meant. This is the absence of ease, you know. And of course mind wants to skip that hard thing, you know.
Right.
and manipulate, control the body on its own. But when we connect mind to the heart, where they are both are being held by one another, you know, embrace, there is a devotional love between one and the other, you will feel that in your body. That would be undeniable, you know. It's actually a sensation of you know, when life starts to activate you, it's a sensation of joy and you know, sensual. Well, in blank words, I would say
It's beyond words.
it's beyond words, you know. But we deny that, you know. It comes, it pours into our bodies, you know, that blissful, you know, sensual bliss and joy and sensuality, and we like slap ourselves on the hand like, no, no, you cannot feel like good, you know. And society did play that role in conditioning, like, God forbid this gal feels too good, she's dangerous. And you know what, I am dangerous, but I'm dangerous I'm dangerous in a good way, meaning, you know, I unlocked the unlimited creativity, giving birth to my son. And I know people feel that way when they birth musical albums or books, you know. But to me, just physically out of my body produced a whole new human being. I was like,
Right.
oh my gosh, I can do everything, you know. So, you know what I mean? And that unstoppable nature is the consciousness that speaks for itself.
Well, the thing I noticed. Well, I have a couple of things to say. First off, the thing I noticed is that, you know, in my poetry, when I'm really getting on a romantic roll, then like love just seems like such an inadequate word to describe the effusion of a feeling that I feel for, you know, whether it's my muse or my romantic partner or anything. But as for like being too happy, my main doctor of my life called my illness psychotic bliss. And you know, it's just like you know, everybody said, you know, I met my first doctor in the hospital. He used to say, you have to be more aloof, Dale. You know, you have to, you can't be so friendly. You can't be like such a love bug, you know. And it's like,
No,
well,
but
why
why
the hell?
can't we? This is who we are. You know, this is who we are. Oh my goodness, you know. And then, you know, the doctors can say today that, tomorrow somebody will say that you're a dog or a car. You know, just because somebody put something on you, you don't need to make it real for yourself. The easiest thing to be who you really are, because to conjure something of yourself that you're not is such a strenuous endeavor for your soul. And why would it invest its precious energy into that? We can invest it into developing the dreams.
Well, I was talking to somebody, and he had a friend who's the husband of the wife. His friend was the wife, and she was married to like a person who worked in a psychiatric hospital. And
Uh-huh.
he was saying, well, these people are all crazy. And his wife came back at him and said, no, you're the crazy one, because you're just following the rules, whereas these people are being like persecuted or put into a hospital for just being themselves and for really being themselves, instead of like just following the social protocols and everything. And I sort of feel like that too sometimes, when I look back on my history. It's just like
Oh.
I think I've always tried to be myself, but myself is like so expansive and so divine that it's like, ultimately I got like totally persecuted because of it, because, ultimately the society couldn't accept me, and so they tried to put me away and shut me up.
Oh
And
my gosh.
one thing that I'm very happy is I was hospitalized 15 times for psychosis, and I was discharged 15 times. So I feel I, I feel that's like a real accomplishment, because a lot of people wouldn't have made it that far. So
Well, Dale, I want to congratulate you. I think you have some mental toughness to be able to survive this persecution. I think well, of course, I don't wanna say that it's the case for all of the people in the different institutions, because my father has been working in one of the institutions, and all of his patients, they loved him. They considered him like a father, and there are bright souls even in these dark places that can do that can do actually a lot of good there. you know the patients in my dad's hospital were allowed to actually be creative, because that is the thing. They're very creative. You guys are very well, very, the creativity gets jailed, right? So, but the in my father's hospital, they were allowed to do that. They were allowed to create and write and just do different things with their hands. But ultimately, I see it. Oh my gosh, I see that we're transcending all of that. We're transcending. There are other ways to heal people, with the means of compassion. And first of all, get all those labels of them, ADD, ADHD, schizophrenia, and all of that. We can say, of course, for the lack of the better word, but hey, we're living right now in the era, in the golden age of miracles. These days, the words like multidimensional is a regular word for me to throw around,
right.
because of course people are still kind of starting to understand what it means, the telepathic abilities awake, all of a sudden you can hear and you can feel and you can empathize with people emotion, but hey, we're normalizing all of that. The system that you were locked into is um maybe I would even say indoctrinated into, or it was an attempt of that. It was more like a persecution, for the freedom of speech, which is in the Constitution. But hello, here's the case of a person being persecuted for freedom of speech and locked away for 40. How many years were you there?
Well, I was only in the hospital for like 13 weeks, and then I came to a program for 5 years, and then
Yeah.
and I I've been on my own for 41 years, so I am very proud of that.
Yeah, well, the medication and everything like that, it affects the chemical system. It's nowadays, again, let everybody use their own discernment of a perfect mixture of a Western medicine and what they call now alternative medicine, but it's not an alternative medicine. It's our natural medicine of our energy. The energy piece behind any illness is the biggest puzzle piece, but we somehow ignore it, in the reign of a logical mind where pieces gotta go together like that, we ignore the main thing, where the people just looking for a safe space to be themselves. When you told me, right, that you have a difficulty to, I mean, not difficulty, but that was your journey to embody divine feminine within you. I think you're not alone, Dale. Many men looking for a safe space to be themselves. Can I be known and then loved?
Right.
That is the question that people asking. And we all have a desire to be seen. That's why we all have a desire to express ourselves. But again, time when we've been burned on stakes and thrown off the bridge, they are gone. But yet those timelines are still playing out even in our reality, because they're parallel lifetimes. And of course, it's a completely different conversation.
Right.
But at the same time, I would be amiss not to mention that these timelines still playing out and have a role. We are transmuting all of that. It's a big deal to be a divine being, and we have a power to transmute all of those timelines. And how we're gonna do it? Not by punishing and judgment, but by welcoming, accepting, inclusivity. Stop censoring people and judging. And finding the way to find a conversation with one another. Communication is the key.
Right. Well, I want to make sure that we get a chance to talk about your poetry. So, do you have a poem for us, or?
Yep.
Yep.
Oh my gosh. I can never miss a chance to read my own poetry, or to speak my own poetry, or to post it. And again, it's not about me, in that poetry. I use my voice and the courage, just the willingness to bring it through me, to bring those words of the words that my heart speaks. The thing is, all our hearts are connected, right? So the words that my heart speaks, they are being heard by another heart and recognized as truth. And ultimately, I'm just bringing the message that it's safe for your heart to speak. It is safe. In Sophia Code, Kaya shared with us this mantra, which I was using. I don't know if I don't think it was exactly in the book, but Kaya she shared a mantra, which I really love, and I would love to share it too. I am the sacred heart that I seek. It is safe for the sacred heart that I am to speak. And just this knowledge alone, relaxes our nervous system. I can feel like from my vagus nerve, just like a cooling balm, just like, it's safe for my heart to speak. All right. So the poem that I'm going to read is called Unbearable Love.
Okay.
So and it's a declaration when people ask me what I am and all of that, but also just that spirit that wants to let itself known in this world and proclaim and declare, that's who I am. I am what I am. So so let's take a deep breath in. Bring your attention to your heart. Fill your heart with this fresh air of faith and beauty and acceptance and compassion. You may feel how your spine riveting, and you can smile. Smile to yourself, acknowledging this love to yourself. As you exhale, let the long sigh out. Make it as long as you want. Again, in the Sophia Code, we say that your every exhale is a bliss of Sophia. And why is that? Drop your shoulders a little bit. We don't need to carry all on our shoulders, right? Help is not only on the way. Help is here. Help is with us. Help is us. So here it is. Unbounded, unlimited, unbearable love. That is who I am and what I am made of. That is what I speak, what I think, what I do. That is what I look with and finding in you. That is who I sleep with and wear and eat. That is what I'm breathing and what I have to give. That is what I'm birthing through day and through night, the dark of the womb and the most blinding light. Unbearable love, there is beauty and truth. And everything good I would shout from the roof. And nothing can change this unspeakable bliss. And no one's permissions required for this. You feel this? I know this. The future is bright. Claim this as your present. This love is your birthright. Thank you. So the declaration, and we can use the poetry. Thank you so much. Let's take another deep breath. Poetry is a powerful, potent tool, accessible to everyone. So if there is one message that I want to bring with my embodiment and sharing my poetry, is that hey, if I did it, you can do it. English is not even my first language. Yet the type of English I'm speaking is obviously, with my alignment with my own divinity and my own higher self. It's basically 24/7 life with open eyes, channeling directly from my higher self. Right. I, for a long while we had a problem with the word channeling because, feels like you're giving yourself away and somebody else is, basically, somebody else, right, taking over. But it's not so. You're more yourself than any time. You're allowing all of yourself to come into your body. And your higher self is an incredible technology, and it is a technology ultimately. It interfaces with everything, incoming signal, incoming. And it's like a firewall, whatever doesn't suit you, it's not even gonna let in. But you're gonna be able to be in alignment with your higher self. It's a breath by breath, minute by minute resolution, not agitation, but resolution, resolve to stand in your truth, to be rooted in your joy, your most powerful embodiment and most natural embodiment.
So, just to let people know, Diane and I, with 3 other poets, are collaborating on a book which is called Love. I think the title is Love's Invited Guests, and hopefully it'll be out at the end of February and the beginning of March. And it's just like what you said is true. Everybody can write poetry. I mean, people always used to say to me, how do you write this stuff? And I'd say, well, you just listen to your inner self, you listen to your inner voice and let it bubble up and, let it come out. And that's how I produce like 4,500 poems. It's just like, it's so natural for me at this point that, but I know it's very hard for some people. And, people say, well, I don't get poetry. And that's why I called this book For Those Who Hate Verse. It's just like, it's opening people's eyes to the possibility of their own creativity.
Wonderful. I just, first of all, I'm so honored to collaborate with you on that project. I would love to speak a little bit about it. And uh, yeah, it's true. Everybody can be a poet, you know. But what makes the difference between why doesn't then everybody publishes the poetry books? You know, what stops? What makes a difference? It's the courage. It's the courage to be vulnerable. You know, because we are not exactly disconnected from our poetry. Yeah, what people will do with that, it's a different it's a different conversation. But we do that poetry first of all for ourselves. I found poetry when I was in a position where I didn't have anybody to talk even to. So I was talking to my heart, and that was a healing tool for me. So expressing yourself, and we five of us, we published Poets Unlimited. You know, we gathered together. We showed that willingness to not only bring our own poetry together, but bring ourselves together and bring our collective product of collaboration. You know, get together. When two or more get together, that's where I am. That's where the I am presence, the collective I am presence. And oh my gosh, what the collective I am presence can come up with. Whew.
Right.
There is not even such a thing as a lack in the multiverse like that. You know, ideas pouring like a cornucopia of just ideas, you know, and the realized ideas is the prosperity, the outer prosperity. The outer prosperity is a happy byproduct of that. But yeah, the ability to make a move, to complete the action that is aligned with the divine will, that's the change maker. That's how we're making the difference. But people cannot make a move because of the confidence issues. And that's another thing that I wanted to talk about, is about confidence. Ultimately, that's what I'm teaching my son day in and day out. More important than any academics, he's speaking the affirmations. He says, I am a miracle, I am magical, you know. And my soul just sings when I hear that. It's like, oh my gosh. But that's what I want to instill in people, and anybody who encounter me or my work or our work or anything I'm a part of. I want to instill in people confidence, confiding in themselves, you know. Stop running from your own heart, from your own divinity, from your own bliss, from everything we've been praying for. You know, I think people were more afraid to receive what they were asking for than to not to receive what they were asking for.
Well, there's the old expression, be careful what you pray for because you might get it.
Yeah, and at the same time, our absolutely conditioned behavior to settle for mediocrity, and like, oh well, did not work. Oh, you know, well, no, you deserve to receive your desires. You know, your oversoul as an architect of your destiny. You know, basically imprinted already your desires, your pinnacle moments in life, you know, and it's communicating to you through the channel, through the stargate of your heart. So now, of course, it's not going to be screaming over the mind chatter. So the ability to quiet the mind chatter is actually our everyday practice. You can do it in the meditation, but some people meditate. I sometimes meditate on the stairwise, again, with the eyes
Right.
open. So, you know, whatever, of course, being in the nature is super healing, of course. You know, Gaia, she is always waiting to welcome you into her sanctuaries, to bless you beyond anything you ever imagined, you know, and to show you the beauty of this life and the preciousness of your own life.
Well, I think that since the pandemic started, I think that, you know, maybe even the majority of people have like really been questioning where they're coming from and what they're doing. This has led to what they call a big resignation, where people are just like leaving their offices and their jobs in droves because they know that they've been exposed to like the freedom of their entrepreneurial powers, and just like the sanctity of themselves. And consequently, companies are having troubles because they can't find employees because nobody wants to work in corporate thing anymore.
Yeah, because bosses are outdated. Hello. The whole world is waking up to the realization. And that is actually, as my dear friend John Burgess says, the gift of COVID, was that people finally stopped in that track, meaning, got off from the hamster wheel for a sec. So
Right.
notice, like, wait a minute, I've been in the hamster wheel for 15 years.
Right.
I thought I was living my life. Turned out I was living the one day every day for years, and that stop, that pause, um, that movement inside, forced introvertism, introverted. It was such a gift. The people finally had the opportunity to check in with their hearts. Are we on track? Where are we going? And of course, entrepreneurial movement right now is super attractive, and is totally a part of the new paradigm which I'm co-creating together with my allies all over the world. And teaching people financial literacy, and how to be a driver of their own car is a huge part of it. And I'm totally behind it 100%. I see the breach in the mental health of people with their again confidence in being able to design and live their life on their own terms, rather than being said by some boss, when to come to work, when to leave. And we're all looking for that. We're looking for the communities. We're, the thing with the entrepreneurial movement right now is we're starting to realize that we're gonna do it by ourselves. That we're gonna change the relationships within organization. There cannot be any more that hierarchy BS. I'm over you. I'm your boss. I'm telling you what to do. You are under, and blah blah blah. No, we are cultivating, building leaders, investing into people, to push people up, to grow people. The best investment you can make in this lifetime is investment in yourself and people, including yourself. Start with yourself. And don't forget yourself. Again, it's difficult to invest in people when you don't know how to invest in people, when you did not practice it on yourself.
Right.
And to grow one another, to use your voice, to even check on one another. How you doing? How are you? We're so afraid to talk about to talk about money, to talk about, and at the same time to talk about our desires. Because again, conversation about money has been conditioned with oh gosh, the coping mechanism, the survival strategies. So it's when we were conditioned to survive and be slaves for so long, the new conversations of freedom might be a little bit unsettling. But here come we, the pillars of light. You, Dale, you are a pillar of light, for your community. And I'm so grateful to everybody who tunes in and listening on the replay. I don't know if it will be replay.
Yes.
Okay, good. So everybody who will listen on replay, I want you to know, guys, that your presence is valuable. Your energy is like a
Indispensable.
Right? It's incalculable worth, incalculable. And you have it. You have the power. You are the grant investor, the master chooser. Who are you? Where are you going to invest your energy in the next moment? Nobody can decide it for you. Not your boss. It's not your boss's job. It's not the government's job. It's not even the parents' job. Well, up to a certain point. And again, I mean, who of us is not a control freak? It's absolutely human. When we can laugh about that, we can embrace that and move on in the direction of sovereignty and freedom and discovering our unlimited genius creativity, you know not seeking approval and then seeking punishment, for our truth. Let's not apologize for being who we are. So, and I think that Great Resignation was about people probably became a little sick and tired of being sick and tired of apologizing for wanting to live their life of their dreams, not the life of their boss's dreams. So, so, but we can all connect our wishes, our desires. Came here to serve together. We came here to bring to rise together. And even in the entrepreneurial world, the idea, I was speaking a lot last year about leadership. I'm reading a lot of book about that. But ultimately, there is a confusion. Somebody thinks that leadership is a boss, the manager is a leader. No, the leader, for me, is more important right now to find out how I can be a team player, how to run together, with other angels assisting this planet's evolution. So, and I'm learning that every single day. We're getting better and better, better and better.
So yeah, there's been like a paradigm shift in the workplace. It seems that instead of like boss employee, it seems more and more companies are realizing that people don't need managers and bosses; they need coaches, and just people who can like show them how to improve their life, not only in the workplace but also just generally.
Yeah. And I mean, coaches also a very interesting, notion. And I know if we are right now a lot of people who are with this coach community, and being a source of support for people. We gotta learn too how to be those coaches. We cannot like shame and bully, like come on, come on, Sissy.
Right.
No, we there is a way to point in a direction and gently, playfully, even challenge him. If we come from the space of love, first of all, that there is the difference between management and leadership. Coming from the space of heart and coming from the space of mind, sometimes two different spaces. It's
Right.
You can manage from the mind alone, but not really lead that well. So, and there's no progress to be made there. So, but when you come from the heart, here we go. We can open the conversation with love, with compassion, with gentle playfulness. I mean, with gentle but firm playfulness,
Right.
And by firm, I mean clarity. We're learning how to be clear with one another. I Sometimes I notice in our poetry circles, there is a kind of a hiding behind beautiful words, and sometimes it's just a clarity, straightforwardness, and look person in the eye and know that like here I am, and here you are. You can so this is so precious. This is the healing that we are looking for, and with the mental health part of that too, you know, people need to feel that they are, you know, that they're safe.
Integrated.
Yeah.
Is that the word you were looking for? Integrated?
No. The people need to feel that they're safe. They're safe. You
Right.
know, we don't trust life oftentimes. So, you know, and that's why we cannot allow all the gifts that the life wants to bring.
Right.
So,
Well, we're
and the
coming up
mental,
on an hour, so we got a few more minutes. But any closing thoughts or any ideas that you want to still inject us with before we leave? I mean, you've just been full of ideas, so
oh
feel
my
free.
gosh. um, well, first of all, Dale, thank you so much for inviting me to speak today. You
Well,
know,
it's a pleasure. I knew you'd be a good guest, and just thank you for joining me. I appreciate it.
No, you're a wonderful leader, and I know you provide a lot of value for your communities, and I am just so honored to be on this journey of discovering of our power and how to empower other people, you know, together, you know, and welcoming everybody to join this movement of heart-centered people connecting with one another and sharing goodness. So my finishing message would be the message of love to yourself. Don't underestimate what this can do, you know, and see that love then producing incredible results in the outside world. Grow your gardens, pick up your seeds diligently, you know, use your discernment and grow those gardens of love. We don't have to wait till the war is over. We can start our peach garden right on the sidelines, you know, which I have already started, you know, and I honestly, I'm not gonna stop. You know, I am here to not alone, but birth together, be the bringers of this new gardens of life, you know, luscious trees and just beautiful, tasty fruits, you know, that I'm growing with my intentions, with thoughts, and I just want to say that you can do too. Everybody can do that. You know, everybody can be kind with yourself. Start with that. Just breathe with yourself, sit with yourself, ask what your inner child wants for you. And don't let anybody tell you that you are not precious and that you don't have what it takes to live a life that you envision for yourself.
Well, thank you very much. That's a very good summary of your whole interview, and and it's been a pleasure having you. And thank you very much, Diana, for your wisdom and your caring and your compassion and your love and your message of love. It's very relevant and it's necessary these days because there's so much polarity in the world, and love is the only thing that overcomes all fear.
Yes, love will see us through.
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you so much, Dale. Thank you,
Well, have
everybody
a
who
great.
joined us.
Yes, thank you all for joining us, and I hope you enjoyed the show. And come back next week, and we love you all.